Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in your life when you must look around and ask yourself one question. Who am I walking with? Because the truth is, your direction in life is not just shaped by your dreams. It's shaped by the people who walk beside you. Some of you are stuck not because you lack talent, not because you lack vision, but because you keep trying to drag people who don't want to move. You're trying to convince people to believe in your dream when they don't even believe in themselves. You're surrounding yourself with doubters, complainers, and excuse makers, and you wonder why you feel drained every single day. If you hang around losers, you will learn how to lose gracefully. But if you surround yourself with winners, you will learn how to win with purpose. Winners think differently. They see possibilities when others see problems. They rise early. They plan. They push. They grow. And they refuse to settle for average. You cannot fly with eagles while walking with chickens. You cannot expect abundance while spending your days around people who speak the language of limitation. The people around you are either multiplying your potential or subtracting from your destiny. Let me tell you something powerful. Association brings assimilation. You will become like those you spend the most time with. If you spend your evenings with dreamers, you'll wake up inspired. But if you spend your days with complainers, you'll wake up tired. Stop trying to fit into circles that no longer inspire you. Some relationships are seasonal, and that's okay. Not everyone is meant to go where you are going. Stop waiting for their approval. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. If they can't see your worth, that's their blindness, not your weakness. Winners will challenge you, push you, correct you, and stretch you. But they will never let you quit. They will not clap for mediocrity. They will demand growth. Because they see greatness inside you that you may not yet see in yourself. If you want to change your life, change your environment. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. If you keep surrounding yourself with small thinkers, your dreams will start to shrink to fit their limitations. But when you stand among the passionate, the hungry, the driven, something inside you ignites. You start thinking bigger, believing deeper, and moving faster. So look around your life today. Who's in your circle? Who's in your ear? Who's feeding your mind? Because every conversation is either fueling your future or feeding your fears. You owe it to yourself to protect your peace, your energy, and your vision. You can't build an empire surrounded by people still comfortable living in excuses. Ladies and gentlemen, every dream you hold, every goal you chase, every plan you make, all of it is either strengthened or weakened by the people you choose to surround yourself with. You see, success doesn't happen in isolation. Greatness isn't born in silence. It grows in the company of believers, encouragers, and visionaries who see beyond today. Your circle defines your atmosphere, and your atmosphere determines your altitude. Some of you are fighting battles that are not yours to fight. You're carrying the weight of people who don't share your hunger. You're trying to light up your path while walking with those who prefer darkness. You share your dreams with people who laugh instead of listen, and then you wonder why your confidence begins to fade. You tell your goals to those who only see limits, and you begin to question your own ability. The truth is simple. Your circle shapes your future. You can't keep surrounding yourself with people who think small and expect your life to grow big. You can't talk success in a room filled with excuses. When your friends are comfortable staying average, you'll begin to settle too. Energy is contagious, and you're either catching inspiration or infection. The people in your circle influence how you think, how you speak, and ultimately, how you act. You start adopting their habits, mirroring their mindset, and living by their limitations, spend time with complainers, and soon you'll complain too. Spend time with winners, and soon you'll start thinking like one. You absorb their energy, their standards, their drive. Whether you realize it or not, every successful person has learned to protect their circle. They understand that friendship is not about proximity. It's about alignment. You can love people and still not allow them to influence your direction. You can care about them deeply, but choose not to sit at their table of negativity. Because when you sit at the wrong table long enough, you start feeding on the wrong food, and your spirit becomes malnourished. The reason many dreams die young isn't because of lack of effort. It's because of lack of support. When you share your vision with someone who doesn't see it, they won't feed it. They'll starve it. They'll water it with fear instead of faith. And slowly, you'll begin to believe that maybe your dream was too big. Maybe your timing was wrong. Maybe you should just play it safe. That's what happens when your circle is filled with people who see problems in every possibility. But winners, they're different. They push you. They stretch you. They refuse to let you settle. They challenge your excuses and call out your potential. They speak faith when fear tries to whisper. They see what's inside you, even when you can't see it yourself. You need people around you who clap when you win, not people who feel jealous when you rise. You need people who say, "Let's build," not "That's impossible." You need voices that echo your vision, not those that erase it. Because the moment you start walking with believers, something shifts inside you. Your dreams start to feel real again. Your energy returns. You begin to move with focus and faith. Look at your circle right now. Are you surrounded by people who lift you higher, or by those who pull you down? Are you in conversations that fuel your growth or drain your confidence? When you walk with those who are driven, you begin to walk faster. When you sit with thinkers, your thoughts expand. When you listen to achievers, your standards rise. The wrong company will cost you your peace, your purpose, and your progress. The right company will multiply your ideas, magnify your courage, and maximize your success. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose wisely. Sometimes you have to disconnect to grow. Sometimes you have to walk alone for a while until you find your tribe. People who speak your language, who share your hunger, who push you toward excellence. It's better to walk alone in purpose than to walk with many in confusion. You were not created to fit in. You were born to stand out. Don't shrink yourself to fit the expectations of small minds. Don't hide your light just because others are afraid to shine. Don't silence your dream just because it makes others uncomfortable. Surround yourself with those who celebrate your growth, who remind you of your worth, and who challenge you to evolve. If you want to change your future, start by changing your circle. Because your circle determines your climate. Stay in a cold circle long enough, and your fire will fade. Step into a circle of warmth and passion, and you'll ignite again. The right people will make you believe that your dream is possible, even when the world says it's not. They'll remind you that you can, when doubt says you can't. They'll stand with you when everyone else walks away. Your destiny is not shaped by chance. It's shaped by choice. And one of the most powerful choices you can make is who you let close to you. When you guard your circle, you guard your future. When you choose your company with intention, you start walking toward the life you were truly meant to live. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that not everyone you start with is meant to finish with you. You can pour out your heart, give your energy, and share your vision. But some people will still choose to stay in the same place. Mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You can inspire them, motivate them, and show them the path. But if they don't want to move, they won't. You can't save people from their own comfort zone. So many of us lose years trying to push people who have no desire to grow. We try to lift them higher, but they keep pulling us lower. We sacrifice our time, our focus, our momentum just to convince them to see what's possible. But they've already decided that it isn't. We spend our energy on those who don't value the vision. And by the time we realize it, our fire has started to fade. You can't take people somewhere they don't want to go. You can't drag someone into success. You can't make someone hungry who's satisfied living on crumbs. If they're comfortable being average, no amount of motivation will make them chase excellence. If they've accepted defeat, no speech, no sermon, no support will wake them up until they decide to rise. Every time you push someone who refuses to move, you're wasting energy that could be spent on your own progress. You're trying to breathe life into a situation that's already gone cold. You're trying to convince people to climb mountains when their hearts are committed to the valley. You can't force transformation on those who are content with stagnation. There's a difference between helping and holding. Help lifts, holding drags. When you're constantly dragging people who refuse to walk, you're not helping them. You're enabling them to stay the same. You become their crutch instead of their coach. You're carrying their excuses, their fears, and their limitations, while your own dreams wait on the sidelines. Some of you are tired, not because you've been working too hard, but because you've been carrying too many who refuse to walk. You've become responsible for other people's laziness, other people's fear, other people's lack of vision. You keep giving them second chances, third chances, 10th chances, and they keep showing you the same patterns. It's not your job to pull them to greatness. It's their responsibility to meet you halfway. When you try to bring everyone with you, you slow down your own journey. Growth demands space. Elevation requires separation. Sometimes you've got to let go of people who choose comfort over change. You can love them and still move on. You can pray for them and still protect your progress. Because your destiny is too valuable to be delayed by those who refuse to move. There are people who say they support you until it's time to take action. They cheer when you speak of your goals, but when it's time to do the work, they disappear. They love the idea of success, but not the discipline it takes to achieve it. You can't keep trying to ignite people who keep pouring water on their own fire. When you decide to rise, you'll notice that some people will start pulling away. It's not because you've changed. It's because your movement exposes their stagnation. Your progress reminds them of their passivity. Your growth confronts their excuses, so they'll try to slow you down, distract you, or make you feel guilty for moving forward without them. But remember, you can't shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You can't climb the mountain of success while carrying the weight of those who refuse to take the first step. You can extend your hand to help someone rise, but if they keep pulling you down, you'll both fall. There's a point where compassion must meet wisdom. You can't lose yourself trying to rescue everyone else. Sometimes the best thing you can do for others is to move on without them, because your example will speak louder than your words. Your success will become their lesson. When they see you walking in purpose, they'll realize what's possible if they choose to move. But you can't stop your own journey waiting for them to understand theirs. If someone doesn't believe in themselves, your belief in them won't be enough. You can motivate them for a moment, but unless they develop self-belief, they'll return to their comfort zone. People don't change because you want them to. They change because they decide to. And until they do, you'll be wasting your strength trying to move someone who's committed to standing still. You've got to release the guilt of outgrowing people. Growth is not betrayal. Progress is not abandonment. You're not leaving them behind. You're moving toward what you were created to become. If they choose to remain stuck, that's their decision. But you must honor your potential. You must keep walking even if you have to walk alone for a while. There's freedom in letting go of those who refuse to move. You stop begging for effort. You stop pleading for passion. You stop waiting for support. And in that freedom, you rediscover your energy, your focus, your momentum. You start to rise faster, think clearer, and live bolder. Because you're no longer dragging dead weight. Your journey is too important to be slowed by those who've parked their ambition. You owe it to your future to stop carrying people who have chosen not to walk beside you. You can't let their refusal to move become the reason you stop moving forward. One of the most powerful truths about human growth is that we become what we are exposed to. Your environment is not just where you live. It's what you listen to, what you watch, and most importantly, who you spend your time with. The people you consistently interact with shape your beliefs, your behavior, your energy, and your expectations. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly absorbing the thoughts, emotions, and attitudes of those around you. That is why association brings assimilation. Spend enough time with people who complain, and soon you'll find yourself complaining too. Surround yourself with those who dream big, and your vision will start to expand. Energy transfers. Mindsets are contagious. You cannot expect to live a powerful life while keeping company with powerless thinking. You cannot rise if your environment teaches you to settle. The people closest to you serve as mirrors. They reflect what you see in yourself. If your circle only reflects fear, you'll start to doubt your abilities. But if your circle reflects faith, courage, and resilience, you'll start to walk with confidence. You absorb their language, their habits, their standards, until one day, their mindset becomes your normal. That's why you must be deliberate about who you allow into your space. Every time you sit with someone, you're exchanging energy. Some people will charge you up, while others will drain you dry. Some will challenge you to think higher, while others will convince you to think smaller. Every conversation either feeds your faith or fuels your fear. The question is, which kind of energy are you choosing to be surrounded by? Look at your life and trace your influences. Are you becoming stronger, wiser, and more disciplined because of your circle? Or are you losing focus, confidence, and momentum because of it? Sometimes, your biggest obstacle isn't external. It's environmental. You can have great goals, but if your surroundings don't support growth, those goals begin to shrink. When you associate with winners, your mindset starts to shift from "I can't" to "How can I?" You begin to think in terms of possibilities instead of problems. Winners speak the language of action. They don't complain about the storm, they adjust their sails. They don't envy success, they study it. They don't fear failure, they learn from it. And when you stay close to that kind of energy, it begins to reshape your own. If you've ever noticed how people start to act, talk, or even laugh like their closest friends, you've witnessed assimilation in action. Human beings naturally imitate the energy around them. That's why it's dangerous to keep company with mediocrity. The moment you tolerate it, you begin to accept it. The more you hear excuses, the more you start making them. The more you hear "it's impossible," the more you start believing it is. But when you surround yourself with those who say, "Let's figure it out," something inside you awakens. Greatness is not just taught, it's transferred. Spend time with people who live with discipline, and you'll begin to mirror their consistency. Walk with people who set high standards, and you'll raise your own. Be around those who are driven, and you'll start moving faster. You cannot immerse yourself in excellence and stay average. The environment will pull you up or drag you down, but it will never leave you unchanged. There's a powerful truth. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about that. Your habits, your attitude, even your level of income. They often mirror your associations. If you want to change your results, change your surroundings. You cannot expect growth while staying in an environment designed for comfort. You cannot live a millionaire mindset surrounded by penny thinkers. Sometimes, people say they want success, but their circle doesn't reflect it. They want abundance, but spend time with those who complain about lack. They want discipline, but surround themselves with procrastinators. They want joy, but sit with negativity. What you want and what you allow must align. If your environment contradicts your goals will eventually conform to your environment. Every successful person at some point made a conscious decision to change their circle. They understood that association determines acceleration. The right people will shorten your learning curve, sharpen your focus, and expand your possibilities. The wrong people will confuse your vision, drain your spirit, and delay your growth. You have to be intentional about the energy you entertain. Be around those who make you think deeper, not those who make you doubt yourself. Be around those who remind you of your purpose, not those who distract you from it. Be around those who challenge your limits, not those who comfort your fears. You don't grow by staying in familiar company. You grow by surrounding yourself with those who stretch you beyond what you thought was possible. If you keep walking with people who only talk about the past, you'll never step into your future. If your circle spends more time criticizing than creating, you'll find yourself doing the same. You've got to upgrade your environment to upgrade your results. You deserve to be around minds that see potential, not problems. People who make you better, not bitter. Your circle should not just applaud you, it should evolve you. It should remind you of who you are becoming, not who you were. When you look around and see ambition, focus, and determination, it ignites something powerful inside you. You begin to see that greatness is not reserved for a few. It's available to anyone willing to align themselves with growth. Association brings assimilation. That's why proximity matters more than potential. You can have the talent, but if you're in the wrong environment, it will stay dormant. You can have the vision, but if your surroundings are filled with negativity, it will die before it's born. But when you plant your dreams in fertile ground, around people who nurture, inspire, and empower you, you begin to grow faster, stronger, and higher than ever before. Your energy is your life force. It's the invisible power that drives your actions, fuels your dreams, and shapes your attitude. And your vision, that sacred picture in your heart of what your life could be, depends on how well you protect that energy. You can have the greatest dream in the world, but if your energy is constantly being drained by negativity, fear, and doubt, your dream will never reach its full strength. So many people start with fire in their spirit, ready to conquer the world. But they let the wrong voices surround them. They share their dreams with small thinkers who say, "That's too hard," or "No one's ever done that before." Slowly, that doubt begins to seep in. The fire starts to flicker. What once felt possible now feels far away. That's the power of energy. It can either build you up or break you down, depending on who you let into your space. You must guard your peace like it's treasure, because it is. Your peace is what keeps you grounded when life gets loud. It's what gives you clarity when confusion tries to creep in, and not everyone deserves access to that peace. Some people thrive on drama, on gossip, on chaos. They live in storms and want company in the rain. But you can't build your destiny while standing in a storm of negativity. Protecting your energy doesn't mean you're selfish. It means you're selective. You're choosing to invest your time where it multiplies, not where it drains. You're choosing to surround yourself with people who push you higher, not pull you lower. Every conversation either lifts your spirit or lowers your vibration. Every person you allow into your space either adds peace or steals it. You have to learn the difference and act accordingly. Your vision requires a certain environment to grow. You can't plant a seed of greatness in toxic soil and expect it to bloom. If your surroundings are filled with doubt, fear, and limitation, your dream will suffocate. You need to be around those who speak life into your ideas, not those who constantly find reasons they won't work. Because words are powerful. They create atmospheres. And the words you hear most often will eventually become the beliefs you live by. Some people will see your vision and mock it because they can't imagine it. Don't let their blindness make you question your sight. They don't understand your calling because it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. Protect that vision. Feed it with faith, nurture it with persistence, and shield it from those who can't see beyond their own limitations. The reason you must guard your energy so carefully is that negativity is sneaky. It doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it shows up disguised as concern. It sounds like, "I just don't want you to get disappointed," or, "Are you sure that's realistic?" And if you're not alert, you'll start agreeing with their fear. You'll start adjusting your dream to fit their comfort zone. Before you know it, you'll be living small because you allowed small-minded people to define your limits. Protecting your energy also means protecting your focus. You can't give your attention to every voice, every opinion, every distraction, and still expect to move forward with clarity. You can't listen to every critic and still hear your calling. You can't respond to every rumor and still stay rooted in purpose. Silence isn't weakness. Sometimes it's wisdom. When you protect your focus, you protect your future. Your vision doesn't need everyone's validation. It just needs your consistency. Stop trying to convince people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Not everyone will see your dream clearly, and that's okay. It wasn't designed for them. When you're working towards something meaningful, protect your plan from premature exposure. Not every seed should be shown before it sprouts. Some dreams need privacy to grow. Every person has a limited amount of mental and emotional energy each day. You decide where that energy goes. You can waste it arguing with small minds. Or you can use it building big ideas. You can spend it complaining about problems. Or you can invest it finding solutions. The energy you give determines the results you receive. Protect it like it's sacred, because it is the engine of your destiny. There will always be people who drain your enthusiasm. They'll say you're dreaming too big, moving too fast, expecting too much, but that's not your problem. It's their perspective. Don't let their fear contaminate your faith. Protect your emotional space so your belief stays strong. Because when your belief wavers, your actions weaken. When your actions weaken, your results decline. And when your results decline, your dream begins to die quietly. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. Just walk away from negative conversations, from gossip-filled rooms, from energy that feels heavy. You don't have to explain your peace to anyone. Protecting your peace means you've matured. You've learned that not every battle deserves your attention. Not every invitation deserves your presence. The people you keep close to you influence your mood, your mindset, and your motivation. If you constantly feel anxious, drained, or doubtful after spending time with certain individuals, that's your spirit signaling you listen to it. Protect yourself from environments that kill your creativity and people who dim your light. You can't afford to stay in places that drain your destiny. When you begin to protect your energy, you'll notice a shift. You'll have more clarity. You'll feel more grounded. You'll begin to attract others who match your vibration. People of purpose, faith, and drive. Because energy doesn't lie. It attracts its own kind. The moment you decide to protect yours, the wrong ones will drift away, and the right ones will show up. Your vision is your responsibility. Your energy is your protection. When you lose focus, your dream loses direction. When you let others drain your strength, your mission slows down. That's why guarding your energy isn't optional. It's essential. It's what keeps you centered when distractions call your name. It's what keeps your vision alive when the world around you starts doubting your path. Every day, you are surrounded by two kinds of people. Those who pour into you and those who pull from you. Those who light your fire and those who dim it. Those who inspire you to move forward and those who persuade you to give up. The difference between progress and stagnation, between breakthrough and breakdown, often lies in the kind of company you keep. Winners inspire. Losers drain. Winners are builders. They see something great in you, even when you can't see it yourself. They push you to stretch beyond your comfort zone because they know comfort never created excellence. They challenge your excuses. They demand your best. When you speak of a dream, they don't laugh. They lean in. They ask how they can help, how you plan to do it, how you can grow stronger. They feed your belief. They add momentum to your movement. Losers, on the other hand, are masters of discouragement. They find flaws in every idea. They question every effort. They remind you of every failure from your past. When you say, "I want to start something new," they'll say, "That's risky." When you tell them you're changing your life, they'll say, "You've said that before." They may not say it out loud, but their presence whispers doubt into your spirit. Their energy drains your drive. If you're surrounded by people who make you feel smaller after every conversation, you're sitting in the wrong circle. Because the truth is, you rise or fall to the level of the people around you. When you're in the company of winners, excellence becomes your expectation. When you're surrounded by losers, excuses become your normal. You begin to think like them, talk like them, and eventually live like them. Winners inspire you because they lead by example. They don't just tell you what to do. They show you what's possible. You watch how they handle challenges. You see how they bounce back after setbacks. You witness their discipline, their focus, their consistency. Just being around them makes you want to level up. Their success doesn't make you jealous. It motivates you. Their presence challenges you to demand more from yourself. Losers drain you because they operate from fear. They fear failure, so they never take risks. They fear growth, so they stay stuck. And because they're stuck, they want you to stay stuck too. It makes them feel comfortable. Misery loves company. They want someone to share their excuses with. They want someone to agree that life is unfair, that dreams are impossible, that success is only for the lucky. But when you sit in that company long enough, you'll start repeating their beliefs. You'll start accepting limits that don't belong to you. You can't rise to your full potential while carrying the weight of people who refuse to climb. You can't fly high while holding hands with those who fear the sky. Winners will help you build wings. Losers will tell you to keep your feet on the ground. Winners see possibility. Losers see problems. Winners say, "Let's find a way." Losers say, "It can't be done." Winners bring energy. Losers bring excuses. If you want to know whether someone is helping or hurting your growth, pay attention to how you feel after you leave their presence. Do you feel inspired, clear, and focused? Or do you feel tired, doubtful, and unmotivated? The people in your life either recharge your battery or drain it dry. And you cannot build a powerful future with a weak battery. Winners speak life. They use words that lift your spirit and strengthen your faith. They remind you that failure is a lesson, not a label. They encourage you when you stumble and celebrate you when you rise. They don't see your success as competition. They see it as confirmation that greatness is possible. They understand that inspiration grows when it's shared. Losers, however, use words that destroy confidence. They speak doubt into your dreams. They magnify your mistakes and minimize your progress. They don't want you to shine, because your light exposes their shadows. When you succeed, they grow silent. When you struggle, they say, "I told you so." That's why you must be careful who you allow to speak into your spirit. The wrong words at the wrong time can kill the right dream. Your circle is a reflection of your standard. If you keep company with mediocrity, you'll eventually accept mediocrity. If you sit with ambition, your hunger will increase. It's not arrogance to want better company. It's wisdom. You can't expect championship results from a team that doesn't train. You can't expect progress while surrounding yourself with people who have quit on their own purpose. Winners are not perfect people. They're not always smiling or strong. But what separates them is mindset. When they fall, they rise. When they fail, they learn. When they fear, they act anyway. Being around that kind of energy reshapes your entire outlook on life. You begin to see opportunity where you once saw obstacles. You start to speak in the language of growth instead of defeat. You can tell who a winner is by how they respond to your success. Winners celebrate you. They're not intimidated by your progress because they understand that your light doesn't dim theirs. It makes the room brighter. They want to see you grow because they're growing too. Their mindset is rooted in abundance, not scarcity. But losers view life as competition. They think your win means their loss, so they withhold support, spread doubt, or pretend to care while secretly hoping you fail. Protect your circle from that energy. Your dreams are too important to be surrounded by people who don't believe in them. It's not about being judgmental. It's about being intentional. You can't afford to give your time, your focus, and your faith to people who are determined to stay stagnant. Because over time, their stagnation becomes your stillness. You must be willing to outgrow certain relationships. The moment you start prioritizing growth, the wrong people will feel uncomfortable. That's how you know you're evolving. Growth always exposes those who are unwilling to move forward. And sometimes, it's not even about cutting people off. It's about repositioning them. Love them, bless them, but don't let them drain your energy or distract your mission. Winners will always inspire you to go further. They'll push you when you want to quit. They'll remind you of your purpose when you forget your strength. They'll challenge your excuses because they see your greatness. And when you walk among them, your standards rise, your confidence grows, and your future begins to unfold with clarity and power. Ladies and gentlemen, life is too short to spend it with people who don't believe in you. Time is too precious to waste it explaining your dreams to those committed to doubting them. You owe it to yourself and to the vision within you to build a circle that stretches your mind, strengthens your faith, and multiplies your growth. Surround yourself with those who see your potential, even when you can't see it yourself. People who remind you of your worth when you forget. People who clap when you win and push you when you're tired. Because when you walk with winners, something powerful happens. You start winning too. So make a choice today. Let go of the ones who drain your spirit and walk with those who fuel your purpose. Your destiny depends on the company you keep. Choose wisely. Choose growth. Choose greatness. And never forget, you were not born to fit in with losers. You were born to rise among winners.